Hello everyone, welcome back to my new lecture. Today I'm going to give lecture on the factors that affect quantity demanded and may shift the demand curve to the right or left. In the previous chapter, we discussed about the movement along the demand curve. So movement occurred due to the change in the price, and we said that there are some factors which will affect the demand curve to shift right or left. So today we are going to explain those factors. First of all, let me make a list of those factors which will affect the demand curve to shift right or left. First of all, income. So income is the most important factor that will affect the demand curve to shift right or left. Okay. After the income, the taste and fashion of the consumers, price of substitutes, price of the complements, advertisement, and demographic changes. These are also important factors that affect the demand curve to change to shift right or left. Now, let me explain. Let me define income and distinguish between income and disposable income. Okay, so income and disposable income, these two terms in economics are not same. Income is simply the money that an individual or business receives. Okay, this is income, and disposable income is the earnings of the business, sorry, earnings of the people plus the state benefits they are getting from the government minus the tax, income tax, the tax which they give to the government as income tax is called the disposable income. So disposable income is wages or salary of the people plus state benefit received from the government minus direct taxes given to the government. This is called the disposable income. So this disposable income will affect the demand curve. Now let me show you the details of this today's lecture. Okay, so first of all, here I just made a list of the factors that affect the demand curve. So the factors are income, fashion and taste, price of the substitutes, price of the complements, advertising, demographic changes. So we know that price is the main factor that affects the quantity demanded. However, there are many other factors. So these are the factors which will affect the demand. So first of all, income. So income is the money. Income is the money that an individual or business receives in exchange of providing a good or service or through investing capital. For individuals, income is most often received in the form of wages or salary. For firms, income or net income is the total earnings or profit of the firms. Then comes the disposable income. So disposable income is debt, available money to someone to spend over a period of time. Okay, it includes state benefits plus and excludes the direct taxes. So that in the formula of calculating disposable income is wages or salary plus state benefits minus direct taxes. Now let me show how this disposable income will affect the demand curve. Okay, so always remember, disposable income, not only income, disposable income will affect the demand curve to shift right or left. So here, the conclusion is, when disposable income in the economy rises, demand for goods and services also rise. As a result, demand curve will shift to the right and vice versa. For example, if wages and salary rise in the economy, people are likely to spend more money for purchasing goods and services. They may take extra holidays, may buy new car, may buy luxurious goods, etc. So this is the graphical presentation of the effect. So here, this is our initial demand curve D1, and here I would say, for example, our product is coffee, and price of coffee is P1. At this price, demand is Q1. So now, if disposable income increases, people will buy more coffee at the same price. At the P1 price, they will buy more coffee. That means which was before Q1, now they will buy Q2 amount of coffee at the same price P1. So demand curve will shift to the right. So this is original demand curve, and due to the increase in disposable income, demand curve is shifting to the right from D1 to D2. Okay, this is called the rightward shift in the demand curve. It happened due to the increase in disposable income. And if disposable income falls, that means salaries or wages of the people falls at the same time. Government state benefit also reducing and taking more tax from the people as income tax. So disposable income will fall at the same price P1. People will buy less coffee. Before it was Q1, now it will be Q3. So demand curve will shift to the left from D1 to D3. Okay, so this is all about the impact of the change in disposable income on the demand curve. So another topic is related to this disposable income. Depending on this increase and decrease in the disposable income, we can categorize different goods into two types: normal goods and inferior goods. Normal goods are those goods when income increases, demand for normal goods also increases. As a result, demand curve for normal goods shifts outward as more will be demanded at all prices. Okay. On the other hand, as income rises, demand for inferior goods will fall. As a result, the demand curve for inferior goods shift inward due to the increased attainability of superior substitutes. Now let me define the normal goods and the inferior goods with examples. A normal good is a good that experiences an increase in its demand due to a rise in consumers' income. Here income means the disposable income. Normal goods have a positive correlation between income and demand. It means if income increases, demand will also increase, and if income decreases, demand will also decrease. There are some examples of normal goods, which are food staples, clothing, household appliances. That means if income of the people increases, they'll purchase more of these goods, and vice versa. If income falls, they'll purchase less of those goods. On the other hand, an inferior good is a good that experiences a decrease in the demand due to a rise in consumers' income. Inferior goods have a negative, I'm sorry, here by mistake I wrote here positive correlation between income and demand, so it will be negative correlation shift. That means if income decreases, then demand for these goods will increase, and if income increases, demand for these goods will decrease. I gave some examples also. Supermarkets, own label brand, and public transport are the examples of inferior goods. So consumers who generally buy a relatively cheap supermarket own brand, own label brands may switch to more expensive brands when their income rises. If income increases, people may stop using public transport and will use their own car instead. In these cases, demand for supermarket own label brand and public transport will fall due to rise in income. So these are the inferior goods. Now come to the fashion and taste. How fashion and taste will affect the demand curve to shift to the right or left. Over a period of time, demand patterns change because there are changes in consumer taste and fashion. For example, there has been a rise in demand for T20 cricket in the recent years, especially countries like Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and Australia. As a result, demand curve for T20 cricket shifted to the right. So this is the shift in the demand curve for T20 cricket. So this is the original price of the T20 cricket ticket for each match. So this is the price of the ticket for T20 cricket. This is a P1, and when at the beginning, at this price, demand for ticket of T20 cricket was Q0, and since taste and fashion of the people changed, now they like more T20 cricket. So at the same price P0, they will buy more T20 ticket for T20 cricket. So demand for the ticket of T20 cricket will increase from Q0 to Q1, and demand curve will shift to the right from D to D1. Opposite thing happens for the test match cricket. Okay? So the emergence of T20 cricket caused a fall in the demand for test match, which takes long time to finish, at 5 days. This is a 5-day match. So T20, since T20 cricket is now more popular, so demand for test match fell down. As a result, demand curve for test match shifted to the left. So this is the original demand curve of test match cricket, and the price is P1 at the same at this price. Before, the demand for the ticket of test match was a Q1. Now, since people are watching more T20 cricket and purchasing more ticket for T20 cricket, they are purchasing less T20 cricket, sorry, test ticket for test match. So at the same price now, people are buying only Q2 ticket for test match. So demand curve for the test match cricket shifted to the left from D1 to D2 due to increased popularity for T20 cricket match. So this is the impact of change in fashion taste. Now, price of the substitutes. So what are the substitutes? Substitute goods are goods that can be used as an alternative to another but perform the same or almost same function. For example, iPhone and BlackBerry are substitute of each other. The price of substitute will affect the demand of the product. If if price of the substitute was lowered, for example, price of iPhone was lowered, as a result, demand for BlackBerry will fall. This would be shown in a leftward shift in the demand curve for BlackBerry. So here there are two different demand curves. The first one, this is showing the demand curve for iPhone, and this is showing the demand curve for the BlackBerry. So when price of iPhone was P1, total demand for iPhone was QD1, and this was the demand curve for the BlackBerry. Now, if price of iPhone decreases from P1 to P2, quantity demanded for Q for iPhone will increase from QD1 to QD2. So there will be movement along the demand curve for iPhone, and at the same time, at the same price, some people will stop using BlackBerry, they'll switch to iPhone. So demand for BlackBerry will fall at the same price. So demand curve for BlackBerry will shift to the left. So this is the impact of price of the substitutes. Now come to the price of the complement. So what are the complementary goods? Complementary goods are the goods or products which are used together or used in conjunction with another good or service. That means they have joint demand. Such a good may have little value without its complement. When the price of a particular good rises, the demand for the complements drops because consumers are unlikely to use the complement alone. For example, bread and butter are complementary goods. If price of bread increases, demand for bread will fall. At the same time, demand for butter will also fall, although the price of butter remains same. So here, in this case, bread and butter, these two are the complementary goods. So this is the demand curve for bread, and this is the demand curve for the butter. So this is the original price. This is the original price P1 of original price of bread P1, and this is the original demand for bread Q1. Okay. When price of bread increases from P1 to P2, demand for bread falls from Q1 to Q2. At the same time, at the same price, demand for butter will also fall from Q1 to Q2. So demand curve will shift to the left. So here price of bread falls. In response, the demand for butter also falls because bread and butter consumers use together. Since these are complementary goods, price of one good will affect the demand for the other good. That is why there is a shift in the demand curve. Now come to the advertisement. Okay, if advertising of the product increases by the firms, demand for their product will also increase because business try to influence demand for their products through advertisement and other forms of promotion. This means that if goods are highly advertised, the quantity demanded is likely to increase. Eventually, the demand curve is likely to shift to the right at the same price. So more advertisement means more promotion means more sell, more demand. So at the same price, demand will increase and demand curve will shift to the right. Now let's turn to the next and last factor, demographic changes. What does demography mean? Demography means the study of human population and the way in which they change. Demography affects the demand of goods and services. For example, if the number of elderly people increases, the demand for goods and services such as retirement houses and healthcare will also increase. As a result, demand curve for these things will shift to the right at the same price. Again, if the number of women in a country is more than men, the demand for goods and services, especially made for women, will increase, causing a rightward shift in the demand curve. Okay, so this is how demographic changes affect the demand and cause the shift in the demand curve. At the same time, if number of young people increases, so product of for the young people will demand for the product of the young people will also increase. Okay, so this is all about our today's lecture, and in this lecture, what we did at first, we made a list of the factors that affect the. At first, we made a list the factors that affect the quantity demanded and cause the shift in the demand curve. So then we explained all these factors, and we used diagrams also to show the shift. And that means graphical presentation. At first, we explained in theory, then we showed the graphical presentation also. So I hope this lecture will help you a lot to understand the factors that affect the demand curve. Okay. So thank you very much for watching this video and listening attentively. Thank you once again.